Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And today it's the Friday show. So I'm recording this on Thursday, so it's the Thursday show for me. But for you guys, it's the Friday show. So I am super busy tomorrow, and I don't really have, I will be starting work very early, blah, 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 to try and get a load of stuff done. So by the time I finish, which will probably be a bit earlier than usual, but when I finish, I won't be able to do the video for the day. So what I thought was record it on Thursday night. Serendipitously, I have also just finished a book. So I've just finished reading Towers of Midnight. What we're going to do today is talk about what I've been reading, what I'm reading next, what I have made videos-wise this week, what videos-wise I'm making next week, and kind of anything else that I've been watching, reading, enjoying, etc. So let's go straight into things and let's talk Towers of Midnight, which is the only thing I've read this week. I finished this book like half an hour ago, and just kind of let it digest a little bit. I'm going to take the bookmark out now. I finished it via the Kindle version. I really enjoyed this book. I don't know whether I enjoyed this as much as Gathering Storm. I feel like this book had higher highs, but like less exciting everything else. I'm still kind of forming and framing my thoughts around it. I was actually going to sit down and record my review straight after this, and then I just decided, I was like, do you know what? Actually, let's wait. I think I'm probably going to end up reviewing this one recording the review on Sunday night. But this particular book, really enjoyed it. It had some fantastic moments. It had, for like Perrin stuff, this had my favourite Perrin stuff in all of the books. So like this is book 13. I've also read the prequel, but that doesn't have Perrin in. But like, of all the books, I think this is my favourite Perrin stuff. There's a ton of really good Perrin in this book. Sanderson, as everyone said, I think Sanderson does struggle a little bit with Matt. And I think that is one of the big reasons why I liked this a little bit less, because Matt gets a lot of like the climax of this book, which is interesting because I kind of expected him to be like the main thrust of the story of the book, and then like there would be like a big battle climax with Perrin and the other character that is involved in Perrin's story in this book. But that doesn't happen. It's kind of the other way around. So like there's a massive battle and the majority of the book is kind of about Perrin, but the end of the book is a much more personal stakes thing. And while I usually prefer personal stakes stuff, I thought that the antagonist of Matt's story in this book was less interesting than the antagonist of Perrin's story. I think that the antagonist of Perrin's story is one of my favourite characters, like one of my favourite side characters. It's really interesting to see the two of them go against each other. On the whole, obviously I love this book. I gave it my book of the month for June, and I do totally stand by that. I think even though I finished it on the 3rd of July, and I had 20% left when I recorded the June wrap up, but like this is definitely the best book that I touched last month. I only finished two and this of a book, so like, not massively stiff competition. I do, let's talk about what I'm reading next. So next, I'm planning on reading Dungeon Crawler Card Book 3. Can't remember the name of it. I could say that I think it's The Butcher's Masquerade, but if I'm incredibly wrong, I'll look dumb. So I think it might be The Butcher's Masquerade. That's my next up book. Those books I often find quite quick to get through. I haven't looked at the length on Audible or anything like that, but I will be exclusively audio on that one, like I always do. I say always do. So I read a lot of the first book, physical, ebook and audiobook. I'll put this down because we're not talking about this anymore. I read the first book, ebook and audiobook. This is my metal bookmark. I'm a huge fan of this, by the way. I just got it from Etsy, like a plain metal bookmark. People are supposed to use them for engraving, but like I just wanted plain. I wanted sharp edges, I'll be honest, but like kids. So yeah, Dungeon Crawler Card Book 1, I did a split, I would say 40-50% ebook, 50% 50-60 audio. By the end of the book, I was really mostly audio. Then when I started book 2, which is called Doomsday something or other, so book 2 I exclusively audiobook, did not touch the ebook, and in fact, so the first ebook I already owned from years ago, and the second one I libraried, I think, or I can't remember where I got the second one from. No, I never even bought it, because I got the audiobook from Audible because I have a ton of credits on there, but then the second book I was like, well, when I come to a point where I want to read the ebook, I'll buy the ebook. I was like, or I'll try and get it from the library or something. That was my plan, because I'm on a book buying ban, so I'm not buying books right now. And what happened was I never felt the need to pick the ebook up. In June, you may notice, as I was saying, I didn't get a huge amount of reading done. One of the big reasons was because I was listening to the entire back catalogue of the Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe podcast, which I've talked about a load of times. But yeah, so I've got actually, I think, a lot more audio time than I realised. So I do expect to finish Dungeon Crawler Card Book 3 before next week. And I was thinking that somebody told me I should read Blake Crouch's Pines trilogy, and I think I might go straight into the first book of that after Dungeon Crawler Carl. I will have to source it from the library, but it's a popular enough book, and like it was made into a TV show, so I feel like it's probably easy to get. So yeah, I'll be going straight into, I think, Blake Crouch. And then, now after that, I'm not sure. So if Matt has finished Towers of Midnight and we've been able to have our spoiler discussion, I will probably go straight into Memory of Light after those two books. But essentially, one of the big things that I've been trying to do for the last few months with the spoiler discussions on Wheel of Time and with talking about them with Matt and reading the books is that I don't start the next book until Matt and I have discussed the latest one. So until he finishes and we book in our spoiler chat, because it's quite funny, because sometimes like we'll both have finished the book, but we're not free for like 2 weeks, so we don't actually get to start the next book right away. Last time it was really quick, like Matt finished it on like Sunday and we did the spoiler chat on Wednesday. I've got not very much stuff for like evening events for work coming up, but I am going to a concert on Saturday night, and my cousin's band is playing. I say my cousin's band, they're like a really big, they're a Fleetwood Mac cover band. They're like the biggest in the world Fleetwood Mac cover band, apparently. They're playing the Bristol Beacon, like huge venue, so excited to watch that and to see my cousin. It's been like over a decade since I've seen a lot of that side of the family. Anyway, so yeah, going to be doing Memory of Light essentially as soon as we finish the spoiler cast. The way that I'll probably work it out is that if I finish Dungeon Crawler Carl and Wayward Pines Book 1 like before Matt and I had the spoiler chat. I may try and find a third small book. I do have a few faster read, shorter read, smaller books on the shelf. So maybe I'll try and pick up one of those. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with this now. It's probably a terrible video. So that's kind of my thought process. I could just like pick up some comics or something, but I feel like while I have this kind of like free zone, do you know what I mean? This is kind of like the free pick on like a draft. I've got like this free pick, and there's a ton of different things that could go into it. Maybe we could pick up The Black Tongue Thief. I don't know if that's a quick read. Charlie, when you watch this, Charlie, read a book. Charlie read a book. No, Charlie, read a book. Tell me if The Black Tongue Thief is a quick read. And yeah, I do have the next Hybrid Helix book. I got sent the advanced reading copy of that. I am going to read that in September. So a bit of a long time to wait for the next Hybrid Helix review, and I'm unfortunately not going to have it ready for launch like launch window. I do usually, especially with ARCs, try and get those out in the launch window. I'm not going to be able to on this one because I've got a lot going on, and I'll be honest with you, I want to save a book that I know I will really enjoy for Self-Pub September, because I'm probably going to try one new author, but then I have these two, and I have the new Adan book, which I've been saving, which came out this month, and then obviously the new Hybrid Helix. I would quite like to try out Vaughan Roycroft's book, because we've talked a couple of times as part of being on Philip Chase's channel, and he's a really stand-up nice bloke, so maybe I should read that. I will probably try, actually no, what I should read is something with an audio book, so I will read Death Tax by Andrew Givler, and then maybe I'll see if there's something else that has audio, because both the new Hybrid Helix and the new Adan don't have audio. So if I only pick books without audio that month, I'm losing a huge ton of time where I am listening to audio. So like, for example, when I go running, I always listen to audiobooks while I'm running, and I don't want to lose that time. Also, I am planning on starting Malazan in August. I will basically, when I finish A Memory of Light, I'm going to probably put in a few shorter buffer books, and then I'm going to start Gardens of the Moon. The thing with Gardens of the Moon, everyone says you shouldn't audiobook Malazan for your first read, and like that, I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't want to disadvantage myself, because like, so Wheel of Time is a massive series, right? 15 books, something like 4,000 named characters, and a genuinely huge amount of characters that like you do kind of have to keep in your head. Jordan especially does not reuse characters very much, and like all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so like there's a lot to remember, and the big problem, and like, but people always say like, oh no, the audiobooks for Wheel of Time are fantastic, like listen to the audiobooks. Like people genuinely do say like just listen to the audiobooks, but like the big Malazan fans are like, don't listen to the Malazan audiobooks, you will have a bad time. So basically my thought process is like, okay, I'm not going to listen to the audiobooks then. So what that means is, I guess, that I am going to have to eyeball read these books. I do have physical copies, I do have ebooks, so it will make life a little bit more convenient, but I think I need to find an opposing series to listen to via audiobook, so something that is like completely different. So either like maybe a sci-fi, or like an urban fantasy, or like a horror. So I need a opposite book to read at the same time as Malazan. So I can't have something that is in the same genre. So it can't be epic fantasy, can't be big long books. In an ideal world, I would not have read Dresden Files, because that is like the perfect anti-Malazan, because it hasn't got a big world to learn, because it's set in our world. There's a ton of books, so like if it takes me forever to read a Malazan book, I could read like 3 Dresdens. Unfortunately, I've read all of those. I did have the thought that this year I was going to read Discworld, but I don't, because that is, it's not epic fantasy, but it is quite fantasy. Like it is, a secondary world. It's got tons of magic. It's got tons of like all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if Discworld will be the right counterbalance. Counterbalance is the thing I'm trying to think of. So yeah, I need an audio, a audio first. So like a series that is best on audio, that is a counterbalance to Malazan. So if you have any great suggestions, genuinely let me know. Like pop them in the comments down below. I was about to say the Discord. I have built a Discord, but I haven't opened it. So like nobody's able to get in and chat with me. Yeah, that's probably enough on books. I've been waffling on for way too long. We're already 17 minutes into the video. We haven't talked about videos. So Monday, no video. So I didn't get a video on Monday. I was hoping to kind of like binge read through Towers of Midnight, but I don't feel like Towers of Midnight was that kind of book. So like a lot of Sanderson books are really good binge read books. I like absolutely smashed through them. Like I read Tress the Emerald Sea in like a day and a half. And that's not a super short book. Isles of the Emberdark is out actually. I will be reading that soon. But anyway, so yeah, Towers of Midnight. So Sanderson's Wheel of Time books are not as super fast reads as his Cosmere stuff and his other book series. It's not like it's been slow going. It's not. He has got a kind of slightly higher pace than Jordan, and his like the cadence of his writing is a bit faster, but it still takes me a long time to read these books, and I was trying to read a lot physically this time, so actually this took me way longer than I was expecting. Still great though, and I wonder if the time it took me to read may have impacted how I felt about it. We'll see when I read the final book how I feel about that. Anyway, so yeah, no book review out last Monday, which was like 27th, I think. Obviously, the book review for Towers of Midnight will be out on Monday. On Wednesday of this week, I posted up my June recap. I somehow managed to talk for like half an hour, even though I only read 3 books. I think that primarily I was talking a lot about like reading plans and things like that. I talk a lot about reading plans in my wrap-ups and update videos and stuff, and that's mostly because I want to try and catch as many subscribers as possible. So if you're watching just my monthly wrap-up, or if you're watching just my weekly recaps, you can come in and say like, actually no, the series I'm really interested in is this, or like the series I know you will love is this one. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why I like to talk a lot about upcoming reading plans, and also talking about books you haven't read is fun. I like doing it. So yeah, that was a big part of the June video, and obviously a huge part of today's video. So if you've watched both and you're very bored of me talking about books I haven't read yet, apologies. I'm going to keep doing it. Next week's videos. So big week next week. It will be the Towers of Midnight review, but I say big week. The big thing for you guys next week will be updated review for the Books Palmer. So I have had the Books Palmer now since like March, I think. So we've now hit the 4-month period 4 months is when I think you really understand a gadget, a device, and you know what you're doing with it, and you can really like fully review it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So this month, this week, next week, I will be reviewing, doing a full review of the Books Palmer, and they'll be talking about issues, problems, of which there are very, very few. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm hugely recommending this device to you right now. And I read on this most days, even though I have 2 much more expensive, much fancier e-readers. So there's a little preview, but we'll talk about it on Wednesday. Finally, next week will be the weekly wrap-up on Friday. The Monday after, I mean, I'll give you a sneak preview, is likely to be the Dungeon Crawler Carl review. That's probably everything that we need to talk about. Oh, I will be seeing Superman. I have plans to see it at least twice. I'm kind of hoping I'll be able to get in a third viewing, although not by the time we speak next week. So I'll be recording the Friday video on Thursday night again. No, I might be recording it on Friday, but I won't have seen Superman yet because it comes out on the 11th, but there's no midnight screenings near me. Yeah, so I'm really insanely excited about this movie, like beyond excited. Like I am going to also see it with my dad the week after it comes out. I'm genuinely really excited about that because my dad introduced me to Superman, and Superman is my dad's favourite superhero, and Superman is like one of the big things my dad and I really have in common. So like we both used to be big into Star Trek as well, but like I kind of fell off and he kind of fell off, but like we watched all of Superman and Lois, and like he was messaging me about it and stuff. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the new movie. I'm also excited to just have some quality time with my dad. I've not actually spent time one-on-one with my dad since the pandemic, so that will be interesting. And that's kind of everything I think for this week. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing Superman. I don't know whether I will film a video about it. I think that I do know a few other people who are planning to see Superman. So if you are planning to see Superman and you are a BookTube creator friend of mine and you would like to discuss it in a full spoiler discussion, I would be mega up for that. So just like hit me up. We'll organise something. I keep threatening to start my comic channel, and maybe a Superman review would be a great way to start it. However, the one thing I'll say is like time is not on my side for making comics content. I mean, you've seen that I only read 3 books this month, so like, am I right? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this week's worth of content. I hope that you are having a great time reading good books, and like this video if you liked it. Comment down below to tell me what you'll be reading and if you're excited for Superman, and subscribe to the channel because it makes me feel happy. Have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you on Monday.